Batman has had a lot of different looks in live action over the years. From the classic spandex, to a cowl so tight he couldn't move his neck, to the black armor, to a faithful recreation, or the nipples. But my favorite is from the Batman. Robert Pattinson's costume feels so distinctly Batman in a way we haven't seen on screen before, all while creating a fresh new design that stands apart from the rest. There are entire details on this suit you can only see in the daytime, like, did you know there are trunks sewn into the costume? That's amazing! You can tell that every stitching was made with love and care for the character as they created something truly special. And with the most aura anyone has ever had in live action, look at how insanely cool he is. But here's the thing. I think we can actually improve on this masterpiece. Life is good, but it can be better. They need to give Pattinson a blue and gray suit in The Batman Part 2. That might be sacrilegious to say about our most emo Batman yet, but please just hear me out, I promise this all makes sense. There are very important thematic reasons to give Bruce this kind of upgrade, and trust me, an upgrade is very needed. While his first suit in The Batman is absolutely gorgeous, I would go as far as even say it's flawless, it's very much so an early day costume for Batman. Even if we don't get the blue and gray, which is a necessity, don't you forget it, I do still want him to get a new costume. When we pick up with Bruce in The Batman, he is only in year 2 of the Gotham project, and his costume reflects that. His cowl is made of leather to the point where you can see the stitching on the brim of the nose and around the skull. It's still very clear that Bruce has been making this by hand, and he hasn't evolved to make a more advanced technology for the costume yet. None of those insanely advanced, contingency-filled costumes. He's making this with a piece of leather and a dream. Even his logo isn't a proper bat. It being a knife embedded in the costume does go extremely hard though, so I will happily give it a pass. When you think about it, the Batman really walked so absolute Batman could run headfirst into man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. This costume being so handcrafted and unpolished was a great design choice from David Crossman and Matt Reeves that elevated everything about how Bruce presents himself. Most importantly though, it left a lot of room for growth. Sure, getting a new, more protective cowl would be nice, but it's in the symbolism where we can really see some improvement. A color shift to a blue and gray batsuit would complement Bruce's journey and reflect just how far he's already come in a really interesting way. The central arc of the Batman revolves around Bruce's understanding of vengeance and Batman's role in Gotham. At the start of the film, he intended to use fear as a tool to scare the city straight, striking terror into the hearts of every criminal in Gotham through his presence alone, turning the Batman into a boogeyman-like figure always lurking in the shadows, as if he is the darkness itself seeking vengeance on those who dare to disrespect the precious life we've been given. He wants to live rent-free in the back of their mind, creeping up like a new form of anxiety to make people reconsider their actions, putting this second of doubt in the mind of every criminal as they're always concerned that Batman could be watching, even going as far as using the bat signal, something traditionally used to call for help, and recontextualizing it as a warning to let the city know he's out there inflicting pain on those who deserve it. But over the course of the movie, we see that mindset get broken down as the Riddler directly challenges him on his beliefs, leaving him questioning if Batman is even effective in the first place. Instead of being afraid of the Batman, Riddler sees himself in him, basically the most twisted possible version of "he's literally me." Batman directly inspired Edward to enact his own twisted fear and focused violence on Gotham to punish the systems that betrayed him and made him feel invisible. Edward learned the wrong lesson from Batman's actions because of how hyper-focused Bruce was on fear and vengeance. He didn't consider the ripple effect that would have in Gotham until it was too late, and literally blew up in his face. One of Riddler's goons repeating his same mantra of vengeance back to him was the wake-up call Bruce needed that Batman had to change, and he didn't have to look far to realize how. In the aftermath of Riddler's flood and little tantrum, Batman is able to go where he never has before, out into the open and on the ground level, interacting with the actual people of Gotham. He's forced to take a step back and see the world with a whole new perspective, no longer questioning Batman's role as he's been reassured by the people he swore to protect. It's when he's connecting with people that Bruce is able to see the light and finally understand his true purpose. At the beginning of the movie, the citizens feared Batman just as much as the criminals. One of them literally begged Batman not to hurt him after he tased a guy so hard I could see his skeleton. The end of the movie beautifully contrasts the start in broad daylight as the sun rises over Gotham with a new, unfamiliar feeling: hope. After that dramatic realization, Bruce immediately started to change his mindset, and through his actions alone, he was able to show these people firsthand that they had nothing to be scared of, and that above all else, Batman was always going to protect them. That in spite of all the corruption and death waiting around every corner, there was somebody out there looking out for them. That kind of optimism was the exact thing Gotham needed now more than ever. This drastic new mindset is motivating Bruce to be more and evolve this symbol into something that will leave an impactful legacy on the city. Batman has to physically represent hope, and that's where the blue and gray costume comes in. Yes, I promise this video is still about colors. Giving him a more colorful batsuit is the perfect way to reflect Bruce's desire to turn Batman into a symbol of hope, a way to visually show us the metamorphosis he's gone through as he sheds his terrifying identity to embrace a costume that's more comforting to the people he wants to protect. The black and gray suit was designed specifically to blend into the night and be as hidden as possible, literally becoming one with the shadows. But that's not very hopeful, is it? If you see that guy on the street, you already know it's too late for you. He's about to hit you with the nastiest combo of all time. What's so cool about the blue and gray costume though, is that the colors can easily melt into the darkness of the night when needed, but then when Bruce steps into the light, he still looks like a superhero who can openly interact with kids and the general public. People would finally start to notice Batman around Gotham as they actively see him chasing people around rather than blending in with the darkness. He would effectively graduate into becoming an authentic hero, someone the people can look up to as they watch him save the city in real time, no longer confined to the shadows and doing his best work in the public eye. I'm not saying it has to be some bright blue and gray costume, it still needs to fit the tone of the movie and exist in the same universe as the Penguin's toes, but there should at least be some noticeable color on the costume. Please don't desaturate the colors and commit to him having a true blue cowl, cape, gloves, and boots. The in-universe justification for this change is already there and waiting to be capitalized on. It reinforces his character arc and is a definitive way to actually show growth. On top of all that though, I think they should tweak the design to make it less armored. That look worked for a Batman who was early into his career and needed all the help he could get. Taking bumps like that isn't easy, but let me see him slim that costume down as another visual metaphor. Bruce being armored can reflect how emotionally closed off he was in the first movie, walking around in this impenetrable suit that nobody could break through. Now that he's more willing to open himself up to Alfred and the people of Gotham, the costume should reflect that. Make the suit a little less bulky and form-fitting to deconstruct the vengeful design he had as a way to push him towards being the Batman we always dreamed of. All it takes is saying he's got a Kevlar weave in there and boom, it's believable. I think. I don't know how Kevlar works, but every movie does that. If you want to take things a step further though, you could even give him some yellow on that logo. I don't think the big oval works for the tone of this crime saga, but an outline around the bat would be perfect. That kind of accent would make a proper bat shape pop on screen and emphasize the symbol itself, which is the best way to literally show the audience what this movie is about. Seeing that knife evolve into a bat with a yellow outline surrounding it doubles down on Batman becoming a proper symbol in Gotham as it reinforces a visual people can get behind. Granting Bruce everlasting immortality by turning Batman into the most powerful thing possible, an icon that will outlive us all. Something that represents real change in Gotham, front and center on the chest of the most dangerous man in the city. But maybe that's not enough for you. Maybe you're a sick freak like me who wants to see Batman with trunks in live action again. They've already got the pattern sewn into the costume, just colored in, and bam, you've got the quintessential Batman design. I know the trunks are controversial, especially when it comes to Batman, and I may be putting my life on the line just by saying this, but god damn it, I love those trunks. Okay, you don't have to zoom in on the bat balls like that. Thank you. If he's trying to be hopeful, the trunks would go the extra mile to reaffirm that. It makes him more approachable to citizens, and especially children, which is exactly what Batman needs to be. The criminals need to fear him based on his reputation, but the citizens of the city need to feel safe around Batman. Bruce knows firsthand what it's like for a child to feel that kind of hopeless fear, so going as far as to add the trunks onto the costume would take that away from the kids in the city as they can actually look up to him without feeling afraid. All that being said, I am willing to budge on the trunks and wouldn't be too disappointed if they aren't there, especially since he already has the tool belt to break up the design, but we better at least get the yellow outline around the logo. I'm not flinching on that. If there's one thing I don't want to see this new costume get though, it's the white eyes. Which might seem contradictory in a video where I'm asking for our most comic accurate Batman suit yet, but I would do horrible things if they covered up Pattinson's eyes. With how quiet and reserved this version of Bruce is, half of that performance is all done through the eyes. So it's not like the white eyes don't work in live action, it's been proven time and time again that they can look cool, but they do not fit Pattinson and the overall tone of this universe. Look at a shot like this, and try to seriously seriously tell me he should have the white eyes instead, and then stop, because there is nothing you could say that would make me want to see them. This version of Batman simply does not work without all the intense stares that tell an entire story within a single glance. They just wouldn't hit the same if you covered up his peepers and robbed us of all the subtlety and nuance of his expressions. So how about we just skip the white eyes and focus on a beautiful blue costume change, since that actually fits his character and complements the story. People love to make fun of the blue and gray costume, saying things like criminals won't take him seriously, but I think that's part of the fun. A recent Batman comic put that idea into perspective for me, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Batman and Robin Year One by the dynamic duo of Mark Waid and Chris Samney had a similar journey with Batman's costumes. At the start of the book, he's wearing the black and gray suit, but by the end, when he has fully embraced being in a crime-fighting duo with Robin, he changes his look to the blue and gray suit. It's a sign of solidarity with Robin's colorful costume, but I love how they directly comment on the idea that criminals wouldn't take him seriously. Bruce isn't worried about them thinking he's a joke because he can use that to his advantage, using their expectations against them as they underestimate him and have to spend the rest of their lives eating out of a straw because of it. It's the perfect way to shut that stupid argument down and completely in character for Bruce, as it acts as another mental mind game he uses to make the costume even cooler than I thought it could be. Also, the idea some people have that the blue and gray isn't realistic is crazy to me. It's a color, man. It exists in real life. By definition, it is realistic. You are reading way too much into this if you think they can't make that work in a way that fits the movie's tone. It's all about how the film lights and shoots him in the costume, and with Reeves at the helm, I have full faith he will make a blue and gray suit look as badass as possible. Please tell me you can see the vision now. I mean, just look at this costume. Look at how naturally it takes to the blue and gray colors. The yellow accents. That is Batman. Ideally, they would also tighten up the overall suit design to show progress across the board, but I'm not that good at editing, okay? The best I got is a recolor, and you will accept it. Ooh, you want to see Batman with a blue and gray costume so bad, ooh. But beyond any thematic reasoning and how perfect of a payoff it is to Bruce's arc from the first film, we are just so long overdue for a blue and gray Batman suit in live action. It's honestly crazy that we haven't seen it since Adam West. You'd think the movies would adapt it again sooner or later, but it just hasn't happened yet. Sorry, did I stutter? I said it hasn't happened yet! Get that ugly costume out of my face! That ugly-ass costume set my blue and gray agenda back a decade, but I'm not flinching on it. If anything, we need a blue and gray costume now more than ever to finally show people how cool it can be when it's done right. I don't know how many more black and gray Batman costumes I got in me, guys. It's something different, and I would love to see that change fit Bruce's arc. Alright, now here's when I reveal my obvious bias. My personal favorite Batman color scheme has always been the blue and gray. When I think about Batman, I think about a costume like this. A gorgeous layered design that stands out in more than just silhouette and makes Batman look like a larger-than-life superhero. I fully understand the black costume leans more into the creature of the night aesthetic he's got going on, but blue and gray is Batman to me, so of course I would want to see my favorite version of the character wear that costume. And thankfully, they did all the hard work for me to put us in place to make that happen. Matt Reeves has Bruce on this path towards being a more hopeful Batman, and I want to see that done right. You gotta go all the way with it and use the costume to tell the story as well. If Bruce shows up looking like the same vengeful Batman we had last time, it's not gonna hit the same. I don't care how cool that costume is, and God is it so cool. There needs to be some kind of change. A blue and gray suit would get the job done and continue to solidify this as the definitive Batman adaptation for me, and one that truly understands his character. Then, in the third movie, we get Rainbow Batman, baby! The brighter the colors, the more hopeful the Batman. The people yearn for Rainbow Batman! But what do you think about Pattinson getting a blue and gray batsuit? I would genuinely love to hear what everyone has to say and continue the conversation down below. And while you're at it, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you don't do it, I'm making sure we get Rainbow Batman forever, which honestly would be kind of funny, but you should still subscribe anyways.